Okay, so a few things this morning. We're trying all kinds of stuff. I got a new phone. This is the very first thing that I have done on it, so if we have some technical difficulties, please excuse me. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me? We're in the seed warehouse. It is raining, so we're going to have that little bit of background noise of the rain hitting the roof of the barn, and there's nothing I can do about it. We're also going to have to walk out in the rain and go grab us a corn plant. So we're going to do that. I am attempting to get this live stream pulled up on my TV here so that I can follow along there. There we go. All right, cool. You guys can see yourselves, see? So hopefully I can see that later, but we'll come back to that. So we're going to do an agronomy live stream this morning. We are going to dig up a corn plant. We're going to bring it back up here. We're going to wash the roots off. Start with the hose here and wash it off. And then we are going to bring it inside and kind of peel all the leaves off, split the stalk open so we can see what growth stage we're at, find the tassel, find the ears. We'll see how many ears we can find on a corn plant. It's a lot. It's more than one. I can guarantee you that. And we'll go from there. So if you guys got questions as we go, feel free to type them into the comments. I will do my best to keep up with them, but I'm actually doing something and not just sitting in a tractor, driving around reading questions. So we'll probably fall behind. We have had about 7/10 of an inch of rain since yesterday afternoon, which is awesome. Things are good, but now it's muddy. So we're gonna go dig up a muddy corn plant. Maybe it'll wash off easier that way. I don't know. But yeah, cool temperatures. We've got some moisture here. We had 4/10 on Wednesday, another 7/10 today, so we're a little over an inch for the week. Supposed to rain all day. I don't know that it's going to rain all day. I don't know that we're going to get a lot more rain out of it, but hey, everything we get is good at this point, and it is all helping. So, especially with some of the later corn already starting to tassel. We're gonna walk out here a little ways. We're the field between the house and the farm where my plot is. Right there is our orange corn. Uh-oh. I should have plenty good service here. It would be but it should still work. Break it on that side. This is so much harder with one hand. Crack, 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 all the roots breaking off. There we go. And now you can see there's still a ton of roots that we broke off and did not get. But we got a bunch. Let me throw my shovel out and carry our corn plant out. Okay, there's our victim of the day. We're gonna just leave this here. I'll come get it later. Let's carry it back to the seed warehouse, get all the dirt washed off of it, and we'll go from there. Do we have any questions yet? Nobody answered me whether you can hear me, so I'm just assuming you can. I got some good mornings and hellos. Okay. I need guesses. How many ears do you think are on this corn plant that we can find? And don't say one. It's more than one. What causes tar spot? Can it be stopped from getting it? Tar spot is a fungus. It is a disease that blows in either in the winds through the atmosphere, or it overwinters in the residue, not necessarily the soil, but in the plant residue from previous year's crops. So that's where it's coming from. I think it originally started down in Mexico. For some reason, they had a hot spot of it up around Grand Rapids, Michigan. And it has spread from there over the last 5 to 10 years. But we are kind of in a hot spot for it. And yeah, we get it pretty much every year now. And once we've had it and it's in the residue previous years, it kind of winters there and blows up the next year. Even if that's a soybean field and not corn, it will come out of that residue, get in the wind, and then blow into the neighboring cornfields. I believe that is why we had tar spot so bad last year in our irrigation lanes, is that it was settling out of the atmosphere coming off the winds, and it was open there, so it was able to settle into those edges more so than in the middle of the field. All right. What else do we got? Oh, we do have some comments there. All right. Hope your day's going better than mine. Tree fell on my tractor. Oh, man, that's no good. 7, 6, 4, 16, 4. Hello from Gerard, PA. We can hear you. Okay, good. 3, 5. All right, good guesses. We'll keep that going. If you're just joining, I've asked you to guess how many ears are on these corn stalks. So now I'm going to try and magnet stick you guys up here while I go wash those roots off. 8. We're going to get every number guessed. I saw somebody in Iowa do this where they just took the roots and went shake, shake, and all the dirt fell off. Kind of like that. Except for it wasn't in chunks. The wet dirt is definitely washing off easier, so that's good. That worked pretty well. It went pretty quick. Sometimes this takes a while. Still got some chunks. So this piece here, that's actually some old corn stalk or something that it grew through. It was organic matter. All right, cool. Cool. Can you guys see right there that kind of orangish looking thing? That's our seed. That's the kernel that we planted. That's awesome. All right, let's take this inside and we'll work on it some more. So you can kind of see how the roots are a crown shape. They obviously go out and down. There's not a whole lot right in the center from where that seed is or right below it. They go out in a circular pattern around that. So, all right, I got the forklift set up to hold you guys, but we got to get you oriented correctly. See what the best setup is. That didn't work. There we go. Okay. I need a paper towel. You guys got all wet. There. Except for I don't want you all zoomed in. There we go. You're still zoomed in. Stop being like that. Okay. All right. Why not do it in the grass? Well, because the grass is all wet and dirty and it doesn't get it clean. It's fine. It's raining. It'll wash it off for me. No mohawk roots. Not terrible on this. Okay, reorient again. So not like what we saw before, but maybe still a little bit right here. See, these ones are kind of in a row. We did get some to penetrate down farther over here, but we've got a much wider spread in this direction. So now some of these are starting to flop around. They're not holding their shape exactly. All right, but here's what we're going to look at these roots for to start with here. So obviously we've got our seed in there, and maybe we'll try and cut this open and dig into that a little bit farther. But you see these big ones up here that we would typically refer to as brace roots. They're actually called nodal roots. And if you can look inside there real good, you can see that we have lower ones. We have lots of bands of those. And these lower ones that came out don't look exactly like these. They started to, but now, like this is one of them, and we've got lots of fine root hairs coming off of those. Like those are the majority of the nutrient and moisture uptake for this plant after it starts to grow and put those roots out. It comes through the nodal roots, not the seminal roots or the radical root, which, yeah, we'd have to cut it apart to be able to get in there and see the radical and the seminal roots. For the most part, it's a pretty good root system. I do see some things that I don't like. This discoloration here is not great. There was one right here that seems to be dying back. I wonder if we have some rootworm damage that started chewing on the ends of these, cutting them off, and then they die back from there. I would have to look up and see exactly what corn this is. It's in the plot field, so I would have to go back and look at my planting records to know what variety this is and to know whether it has a actual rootworm trait in it or not. So, but yeah, for the most part, this looks pretty good. Now, you guys have seen me stage corn before, so you know that we always start looking for the bottom leaf, the one with the rounded tip, right? Well, when these nodal roots start coming out, they grow through the leaves. See how this leaf is kind of shredded apart? It's not because we had hail or something like that. It's because these roots grew through it. And it kind of destroys them. And you can almost see right here, there's a little spot right there. There's another set of roots going to come out right in this node. There's another one down here that's a lot closer. So we're going to get more of those. They're going to take these leaves off with it as well. But point being, oh, look at that. We actually can find our first leaf. Wow. I did not expect that. Right there. That leaf there's got the rounded tip. That is number one. Okay, well, that's going to make this easier, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it too. So that's our first leaf. That can't be our second one there, can it? It's awfully long for a second leaf. Maybe not as easy as I thought. Yeah, no, that's definitely not right. All right, we're going to have to cut this one apart. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to point you guys down so I can work on the floor. I might have to lower the forklift mast down here a little bit. Get my knife out. Can you see? Yeah, you can see. Any more questions? Is the wider spread because of the anhydrous application on each side? No, because it's actually down the row. It's going with the row where the wider spread is. It's struggling to reach out in between the rows. If you get any tar spot and don't do anything, what kind of yield loss can you get? Depends on how severe the tar spot is. It could be 50%. It could just totally devastate it. I've seen that happen before. I've seen 20 bushel, I've seen 50 bushel, I've seen nothing. So it just totally depends on the severity and the weather conditions. Okay, so we're going to mark this leaf here as being the one that starts where the top set of nodal roots are extending. Okay, so this leaf right here, we're going to actually peel it off and set it off to the side. And I know that this one attached to where our roots are. Okay, leaf. We're going to set that one right there. Now, we have another one right here that started a little down lower. Let's set that one down too. Here's our first leaf. We're going to put that down there. So now right here on this stem, there is no leaf. There's no leaf sheath. There's no collar. That is just the stalk. Here we still have this leaf. This leaf up here is attached all the way down here. Okay. So let's go ahead and peel that one off and get it out of our way. And you can sometimes just get your fingernails underneath these and they're wrapped around, just unroll it. Usually comes off not too bad. Let's see what we find down here. Aha, okay. All right, so there's our leaf. Now, I just uncovered some more stalk. So now we have a leaf attached up here, but nothing here. But as I rotate this, okay, take a look. Can you see this right there? No, you can't. Right there you can. See that? That is an ear. Believe it or not, that is an ear. Right down there on the roots, that's an ear. Now it's never going to develop and grow, but it is one. So we're going to leave it on there for right now because I don't think I will destroy it getting it off. And I am looking at the next node down. I do not see one there. So I believe this is the last one. Or this was one. I think that was one, actually. There's a little bit of an imprint, a depression in the stalk right here, in this piece of leaf tissue. It's pressed out. I think that was an ear, actually. Okay, anyway, we'll get back to that. We want to know what nodes we're on. So we're trying to count the number of exposed leaf collars. We've already pulled some leaves off here, but what we need to do is count the nodes, and since we can't count leaf collars from the very bottom, we have to split our stalk in order to do that. So I've got my pocket knife. I'm going to very carefully not cut myself, and we are going to attempt to split this as evenly as we can, right down through the root crown. This knife is not long enough. Okay. I don't want to go clear up the stalk just yet because I haven't pulled those leaves off. So I'm just going to spread it open enough that I can see what I need to see. Okay. Cool. All right, so now I'm going to kind of shift these off to the side a little bit so you guys can see better. First of all, we've got our seed right there. So you can see this little right there. That is the shoot. That's what actually emerged from the ground. Right here, this root that I'm holding, this is our radical root that comes out of the tip of the seed. And then above that they're all sort of tangled up. It would be these roots in my hand now. They come out where the shoot comes out on the seed. Those are the seminal roots. Everything else, when you look at this point, Everything coming off of there are nodal roots. So we have node 1, 2, 3, and 4 all stacked up there. There's roots 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then our shoot. So that is nodes 1 through 4 in this dark area. And then we have a little bit of a gap, and we have node 5. And those are the last brace roots that we see coming out so far, are coming out of the 5th node. Now we also go back and we remember that this leaf right here was attached to that. So that's our V5 leaf. Okay? So now from there, we can flip our camera and I can count. Okay, so we know this one was 5 attached way down here. This one was a lower one. This one would be 6 that was attached right here. So now we've got our 7th leaf, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we can see a leaf collar on number 12. So this would be what we consider V12 corn. And we would never have been able to count that, counting leaf collars, because the bottom ones were not countable or were gone. We actually only found 1 out of the first, 2 out of the first 4. So 2 of the leaves are kind of gone at this point. Okay. So we're getting somewhere. So now what we're going to do, instead of keep splitting this, we're going to keep pulling leaves off, and we're going to get our nice pretty layout here, display. So we'll flip you back around because the angle of the camera. Let's go over here. Okay, and let's start this where you guys can see it. About right there. I might have to go back up. Hold on. Okay, now we can tip you down a little farther. You'll be able to see good. All right, so we're going to start with this right there. We have our first leaf. We'll just set it off to the side here. We have probably our 4th leaf. And then 5. We know that one is 5, this one is 6. And now we work our way up. Same thing we did earlier, where we're just going to unroll. This one I had cut, so it's going to fall apart on me, but okay, 6, so that one's 7. Now these, the leaf sheets, I think they call it, are all wrapped around the stalk, but they are opposite of each other. So this last one I unrolled this way. This one I'm going to unroll this way. Sometimes they get real thick, and if you just take your knife and trace around the top of the node, it makes it a lot easier to get them off. Okay. So let's see, where are we at? So it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 11. Okay, time out. Let's show you some stuff. All right, so we're working our way up, and you can see at the bottom here, our nodes are very close together. Well, that's because the plant's small and it's growing, but not growing super fast. And we start to stretch out, and we start to stretch out. These are probably a little closer together than they would normally be because of the dry weather. And then we've started to catch some rain, and so our node length is getting very long. Okay, and then we come up here, and all of a sudden, well, that's not as long. This one's definitely not as long. The next one's not going to be either. Well, these are still growing. This is still elongating. This corn is still getting taller, and this node will end up at least as long as this one by the time it's all said and done. So there are leaves. These leaves here that we can see, they're still attached way down inside here, as you'll see in a minute. And they just keep pushing up through the top of the plant as it keeps growing. So, all right, where are we at here? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is our 12th leaf we're going to unroll and put over there. Now, other thing to notice. So remember, we found an ear, even way down here, and then we've got one here, and we've got one here, and we've got one here, and we've got one here. And we've got one here, and you can see they're getting bigger. And we've got one here. And I don't know if we got more or not, but we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far. All right, what else do we got for questions? Are the cotyledons gone? Corn is a monocot. It does not have cotyledons. Cotyledons are on soybeans. Smart use of the forklift, yeah. Did you get any use the wide drops on that field? We did not use the wide drops on this field. No. Could you get every ear to develop? Probably not every ear. You could get more ears. I've seen corn throw 4, 5, 6 ears before, but that depends on spacing. You know, if you have too much competition from its neighbors and stuff, that's not going to happen. So a single corn plant by itself that pollinates well is possible, but pretty unlikely. Okay, so this is number 12. It starts to get sort of fragile as we move up because it's still young tissue that's not fully developed yet. We've got another ear there. That puts us at 8. This is a nice big leaf too. Like there's a lot of surface area on that one. Got another ear. 9. Okay. So that was it. So there are 9. 9 is the answer. Which also means that this is our ear leaf. This is the critical one. It's going to provide most of the nutrients and sunlight capture, and the one that is critical to protect with our fungicides. But I'm going to keep going here. It's getting very delicate. It rips easy. It's hard to get it to unroll from the right spot, so it's hard to get all the tissue off. You can see the whiteness of it. It's just an immature leaf that's not getting sunlight, so it's not doing as much photosynthesis there. dang it. I broke it. We ruined it. There's our 15th leaf. Dang it. Well, might as well bring this over here to you guys now. So you can see that that's all we've got left for stalk. It's really thin and narrow in there, but we do still have at least a leaf on here. Very thin leaf tissue. Super fragile. Kind of get it, and then once you get the midrib broke, you can pull it off from the top. That one right there. So we were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this would be the 17th leaf. If I had to guess, it's our last one. Maybe not. $17. Try and make sure I'm in the frame here. There we go. Ready? Money shot. There's our tassel. 18th leaf, tassel leaf. Okay, so there is our exploded corn plant. This should be attached right there, and you can see what I mean where those nodes are really close. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then probably, well, let's see. That leaf goes there, this leaf goes there, that one goes there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves that are attached in this space. There's still 5 leaves, so that's all going to expand and grow out and get nice and long. This corn's going to get tall yet. It's not going to be super short. It's going to be a little bit short, but not terrible. So there we go. 18 leaves, and looks decent. We can finish splitting our stalk now, but again, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, of those 9 ears, which one is the one that we're going to harvest? It's the top one, right? So this, you can see they start getting bigger as we come up. The biggest one is actually probably this one right now, or maybe this one. But these top 2 are the ones that stand any shot whatsoever of making it. And mostly it's just going to do this first one. This is the ear that the plant is going to say, we need to protect that one. It has the most potential. If this one is like, heck yeah, we're humming along, everything's great, then the plant's going to say, oh, maybe we can put some kernels down over here. And so it's going to try and do that. Extreme cases, you'll see that this one here might actually have some silks come out. Like it's like, oh, we should try that one, but it never actually makes it. So this is the critical ear. Now, if we're real good, and we're not, but if we are real good, oh, let's not fall over. It's not gonna work. I gotta put you back up there. Okay. We might be able to actually find this ear. We're probably a little bit early, but we're going to pull some silks off. Let's see. I didn't get this leaf unwrapped very good, so it's still kind of buried under there. Oops. mostly husks at this point. Ooh, I see a tip. There we go. Okay. Right there. Let's see if I can get this to focus for you guys. Come on. Not real well. All right, I have another cool trick up my sleeve that we're going to try. So I have, let me get it. I have this really cool little magnifying glass thing that fits on my camera, on the phone, sort of, and then we can look through it. So it's going to get super blurry here for a minute, but you might get a magnified view of a corn plant. So I got the lens on. Now let's pull up this corn plant and see, or the ear, I mean. Got to figure out how to do this. The best lighting and positioning is. Oh, we broke the. Okay, well, I broke the ear off, which might actually make this easier. Oh yeah. Kinda. There's the kernels, see them? There you can start to see individual kernels. Come on. Maybe if I put it straight on the concrete.